What's going on, guys? XSR Detroit here. So today we're going to be talking about the Honda CRF300L's highway performance. When I was shopping around for these bikes, I watched a couple videos, read some forum posts, and the general consensus is, yeah, but... And now that I've owned the bike 9 months, yeah, can you take it on the highway? Yeah, but... Before we get into the overall experience that is riding a dual sport on the highway, I'm going to show you guys a couple clips of getting on the highway. I've got two examples to show you. The first is a very short, probably the sketchiest highway entrance around here, where you just take a sharp curve and it just chucks you on the highway. And then for the second clip, I'll show you a more standard long highway entrance that actually gives you plenty of space to get up to speed. I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty sketched out when I filmed this. I've never taken my Honda on this entrance ramp before, but I think it did pretty well. The key is to just twist the shit out of the throttle and row through the gears and you'll be alright. In this second clip, I took a much longer entrance ramp to show you guys that you have plenty of room to get up to highway speed when it comes to these bikes. This truck did get in front of me, but had it not, I would have had no trouble hitting that highway at 70 miles an hour. The Honda CRF300L isn't exactly a powerhouse. It's a single-cylinder 300cc dual sport. And the reason I bring this up is because when you're on the highway, going highway speeds, passing people is pretty difficult. You don't really have passing power. I usually ride this bike in the slow lane just so I'm not bothering anyone, and hopefully people understand that I'm pretty much just going as fast as I'm comfortable with on this motorcycle. If you're going to pass someone, which I have done before, you just want to make sure that that other lane is pretty clear and that you can just get around the person pretty quickly. Hopefully they're going like 60, 65. The fastest I've gone on this bike is 86 miles an hour. That was downhill on the highway. It was very sketchy and I would never ever do it again. At 70 miles an hour in 6th gear, you're sitting around 7,000 RPMs. I'm not too worried about long-term reliability when it comes to the engine if you did want to do some highway trips, but you can tell the engine is pretty stressed out. My CRF still has the stock tires and stock suspension. The stock suspension gets criticized a lot for being soft, which off-road, it is kind of a problem. I'll get into that in a later video, but as far as riding on the street and the highway, it's pretty comfortable. I weigh around 170 pounds, so your mileage may vary, but it's a lot softer than my XSR suspension, so I do appreciate that. It does feel pretty good. The stock tires, of course, being dual sport tires, are loud. At 70 miles an hour, you're gonna hear them, but that kind of comes with the dual sport territory anyway, and personally, it doesn't bother me. It's just part of the experience. The bike doesn't really have any kind of wind protection, and I think if riding on the highway for long stretches and having wind protection are a priority for you, you should probably consider the Rally instead of the L. I ride another naked bike, so getting blasted with the wind is something that I'm definitely accustomed to at this point, so it doesn't bother me that much, but it's just something I wanted to mention. Another thing I wanted to mention is because this bike is so lightweight and kind of on the taller side, you do tend to get blown around a little bit. And as far as going faster than 75 miles an hour with the stock setup, it feels kind of sketchy. Like, not dangerous, but it just doesn't feel stable. And I'm sure if you had like a supermoto setup, that really wouldn't happen. But riding on the highway past 75 with the stock setup is kind of scary. As far as the ergonomics go, this bike is pretty comfortable. I did swap out the stock handlebars for a Pro Taper high bar, which made it even better, but I did ride quite a bit with the stock handlebars, and it's fine. Everything as far as seating position feels fine. The seat itself is terrible. It's a stock seat, and it's also a dual sport seat, so it's extra shitty. I'm definitely going to be ordering a seat concept seat. If you plan on doing an extended highway run on this bike, you swap the seat out. It's bad. It's really bad. So, can the Honda CRF300L survive on the highway? I think so, but with some compromises. It's like any dual sport, really. It doesn't have a ton of power. I think the sweet spot for this bike is 70 miles an hour in the slow lane. That's what I do, at least. Past 75 miles an hour, it just feels a little sketchy. Most of the highway riding I do is a couple exits and then I'm at my destination. The most I've ever spent on this bike on the highway was around 3 hours in a day, and it is an exhausting bike to ride. The wind hitting your chest and your helmet and blowing the bike around, it's just very tiring. Now, I know people ride these bikes all over and do crazy distances with them, and I think those people are total badasses. I don't know if it's something I would do. I think I would take this bike like on a weekend motorcycle camping trip or something, but if I had to go like more than like 4 hours, I would probably just get a trailer or borrow a truck or something. It would be a lot more relaxing, but it'll do the highway. It gets on the highway just fine. It maintains the speed fine. It's just it's not the smoothest experience. I don't really think this bike was designed with the highway in mind, and like I said earlier in the video, if you need that wind protection or if you're looking for a more highway comfortable dual sport, you might be better off with the Rally or looking into a bigger CC bike like a small adventure bike, but it's fine. The experience is okay. You'll be alright. Your ass is gonna hurt, dude. The stock seat is terrible. Definitely get rid of the stock seat. I'm actually surprised I still have it, but it's a whole nother thing. But if you liked the video, please consider subscribing or leaving a like. I have a ton of Honda CRF300L content and a lot more coming out, so definitely check that out. And as always, ride fast, ride naked, and wear your helmet. See you in the next video.